What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So, we just had a massive dev stream for Warframe with the Abyss of Dagath information. This was probably one of the most jam-packed dev streams I've ever covered on this channel, and DE dropped 5 dev workshops on us afterwards. So, yeah, it's so much stuff. There will definitely be multiple videos. Today's video will be an overview of the Abyss of Dagath dev stream. Tomorrow will probably be the Hydroid Rework. We get a full shield gating rework on the next one after that, companion rework, and things of that nature. So I'll give you an overview today. But before we get into it, make sure you're still this channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads. Also check the live stream channel. Thank you so much for all the support today on the live stream, guys. It was a huge stream, lots and lots of support, and it was a lot of fun hanging out, seeing what DE is changing with these new updates. We're also going over the Dagath new frames abilities, so let's just get into it right now. We got a lot to cover, and yeah, I got a lot of dev workshops to read, so let's get started. All right, so with the first thing first, the October 18th is the release date for this update. Okay, October 18th, and for some of the things you can expect, there will be some new, well, rather in October, there will be a new like UI element thing that we can earn here through a charity event. For Naberus, there will be some new glyphs. Don't worry, this is not the big stuff. There's a new cosmetic for your Sentinel with Naberus, and there's also a new Vampire Lotus skin, which we've seen in previous alerts in the last years. Those are some of the things in Naberus. Now, as far as Dagath, her abilities and her weapon right here are actually looking pretty good. So for Dagath's signature weapon, the Dorrclave, this weapon is going to be a purely slash blade and whip. And it will basically, after 20 kills or assists, it will get 100% enemy follow-through, which means it will do full damage to every enemy it hits. And as I stated, it is a 100% slash with good hybrid stats. So expect this to be pretty good. And while being used by Dagath, it will also heal her every time she does a status effect. And you'll be doing lots of status effects with this because it has lots of slash. Now, as far as her abilities, these are looking pretty good. I don't know if we actually found out which ability will be her helmet, but let's go over what her abilities do right now. So the first ability of Dagath is called Word Scythes, and it just looks like Aqua Blades, to be honest. But unlike Aqua Blades, this is a viral damage type ability. So enemies hit by this will take some damage, and they'll be viral proc too, it seems like. Remember that enemies on Deimos are immune to viral procs, but they can take viral damage, so I'm sure this will give some viral procs when it actually does release, but yeah, these enemies on Deimos cannot take viral procs. Not exactly the best example of giving, what this ability does. The second ability of Dagath is called Doom, and it's more of a debuff attack. So her first ability is a damage skill. Her second ability is a debuff. Enemies marked by Doom will have a scythe above their head, and they take additional damage from your first ability while they have this scythe above their head. So that's pretty nice. Also, when the enemy dies, while affected by Doom, they will spread the curse to nearby enemies as well. So you can kind of see this as feeding into each other. You curse this enemy, you kill the enemy, that curse spreads to other enemies, and now they're taking a bunch of extra damage from your Aqua Blades, which is also actually called Word Scythe here. Now, that's her first two abilities. Her third ability is definitely more of a unique skill here. It's called, I think it's called Death Ward or something. While this ability is active, you have increased crit damage. Also, while this ability is active, you get to enter a death-like state. Think of it kind of like Dagath's passive, where when you die, you become a ghost. But instead of becoming an actual clunky ghost, you stay as your frame. You go into the death realm, and you have, I believe, your gray health during this. It has a duration, and then once it's done, it goes on cooldown, I believe. So that would mean that you can basically get extra life every so many seconds with Dagath, while also getting increased crits. And, I believe enemies that are affected by your curse also take increased crit damage while this ability is active too. So it's a lot of, buffs that are going to be pretty powerful there. And if you're someone that dies a lot in mission, here you go. Once we go over some big shield gating changes in the future too, you might actually be dying more in missions. Those are her first three abilities. So she got a nuke, or rather a area nuke for her first ability. Her second ability is going to be a debuff. Her third ability is going to be like a buff with a death death prevention thing. Her fourth is another nuke, and she does not turn into a horse with this one. She summons a bunch of horses with her Spectral Cavalry ability. Let's see if they can actually cast it here. That's the fourth ability of Dagath. Looks like it does some pretty good damage. I'm not sure if that was modded right there, but about 32,000 damage to an unarmored infested. So that's pretty cool. And that's her abilities. Her passive is she gets increased, she has a chance to get increased energy or increased health from health and energy orb. So basically a mini built-in energize and pulse. So those are very, very good ability stats and things that she does. So that is going to be coming on October 18th, and we're getting a ton of other features alongside this too. So here's a good look at her alt helmet. It's a lot better than her previous helmet. Where you'll get Dagath will actually be coming from the new dojo room, but unlike many other dojo research times, this will not have any just arbitrary wait. You can actually start the research as soon as the dojo room is done, and where you'll get this stuff for building Dagath will actually be a new resource called Vein Thorns. How you'll get this, you have to go to your syndicates, and you'll be giving 5k rep to run these special exterminate missions with this resource on it. There's a lot more that we could go over today, but basically, make sure you get your syndicate rep high if you want to be grinding out Dagath at release, as this is where you'll get her resources, and you'll build the dojo room. The dojo room will let you customize your horse in the dojo. Here's all the stuff right here, so her weapon and her parts will come from this new dojo room. It's a pretty cool looking dojo room. Moving on, though, we have Naberus Voidshell Skin, Mirage Voidshell Skin, and Protea Voidshell Skin. They all look pretty good. The Protea one looks the best in my opinion. That will be coming with this update on October 18th. Additionally, there's going to be some Knights of Naberus stuff. We already showed that. There's going to be a Gamma Core Day of the Dead skin. I don't know why they made that such a big deal. Naberus Lotus skin, quality of life. Grendel Prime will be getting released with it. And Grendel Prime's ephemera does look pretty cool. It's like some energy spikes on his back. Now, the Companion Rework, we'll do a deep dive on this in the next couple days, but things to know from this Companion Rework. Companions will no longer be perma-dead, they will be incapacitated and have a timer you can reduce by doing certain things with certain mods. For example, the primed regen mod, something I'm speculating on for the Companion Rework, that will reduce your companion's respawn timer by 35 seconds. I believe it's 1 minute at base, so over chop that in half with prime regen. It will also give 6 seconds of invincibility too. So interesting mod there. We'll do a deep dive on that, so don't worry about that. Other things though, pets are getting more health overall, and they're just gonna be more tanky and come back from the dead like infinitely. So that's great. But another thing, there will be a part 2 of the Companion Rework coming in 2024, and they will be nerfing Smita Charm. Pablo has said it. They are nerfing Smita Charm. But hey, Pablo, those hounds are terrible. So you better go buff those hounds. Maybe give them a loot augment while we're at it if you're going to be nerfing everyone's favorite cat. I know you love cats too, Pablo, so think of the kitties, bro. But yeah, moving on past that, I think the Sentinels will be a lot better. I'm expecting, especially Nautilus Sentinel from Railjack to be really good. Throw on Prime Regen, he'll be respawning every 25 seconds. He's got a built-in ensnare. Nautilus is looking good for the future, guys, and I'll show a lot of these other mods later. But so one of the big things we're getting, these are being new mods. Let's see if I can zoom in on this. These will be special mods coming from the conservation vendors on Deimos, Fortuna, and the Plains. These will be in addition to what you already are doing to have the revive thing. This is how you make the revive timer shorter. The best one so far sounds like Tenacious Bond. Headshot kills make the companion respawn timer reduced by 3 seconds each. But here's the kicker. If the companion's critical chances above 50%, then you gain 60% crit damage. You could easily get your companion's crit chance over 50% with things like Hunter Synergy or a crit chance mod on your Sentinel's weapon, for example. So this will just be a free 60% crit damage at all times, it sounds like. So that's good. The other ones are not as interesting. Duplex Bond sounds interesting, but it's like your companion has to get kills, and my companion doesn't really get kills normally, so if they could change this to assist, the clone of your companion could actually do something maybe. Yeah, we'll do a deep dive on that in the future. As we can see right here, some more deep dive stuff for later, increasing the EHP of all the companions. So for the Hydroid Rework, I'm just going to let you know right now, it looks good, okay? You can rest easy. The Hydroid Rework is looking good. What he's going to do is he's going to become the new Corrosive King. All of Hydroid's abilities are being changed to corrosive damage, and they're actually changing a lot with his augments. So for example, the first ability of Hydroid, let's actually take the abilities one at a time. So Hydroid's new passive is that he is now the king of corrosive. Any enemy damaged by Hydroid will now be like basically debuffed. That enemy will be weakened by corrosive. So any corrosive proc on the enemy now will remove 50% of the armor from 1 proc. And if you know how corrosive procs work in this game, that means that when it's at 10 procs, the enemy will have no armor. That is only something that Hydroid can do that is not normally happen. So that actually means an enemy damaged by Hydroid can have full armor strip from just status effects, just corrosive alone. So And DE did clarify as well, they have to be damaged by Hydroid. The corrosive proc does not need to come from Hydroid. So if you had like an AoE thermal thunder Hydroid, those enemies could be fully armor stripped by like Sarin spores, for example. So that's an interesting thing right there. And that's just the first part of the kit. All of his abilities now do corrosive damage. So that means all of his abilities can technically fully armor strip enemies. So let's go over his first ability now. They changed it where the augment mod for his first ability is going to be giving viral procs instead of corrosive procs, because he has built-in corrosive procs now. So that means you'll be getting viral and corrosive from the corroding barrage augment. Reminder, that is actually Hydroid's helmet ability. So that means we'll have viral and corrosive available as a helmet ability, technically on like almost every frame. So that's interesting. It's definitely better than before, and maybe we'll helmet off something else in the future. Moving on to the second ability of Hydroid, the Tidal Dash, I think it's called. They just basically did some quality of life changes on this. It will no longer just like ragdoll enemies all over the place. It will pull them into one spot, and they'll be grouped up, very easy to kill that gigantic group of enemies. Now, they did replace the puddle. The puddle is gone. There is no more puddle frame Hydroid. He has a new ability called, I believe it's called like Pillage or something. It's not, okay, it's not Pillage. It's like Swashbuckle. I can't remember the name of it, but it basically is going to be where he will remove enemies' armor. It will make the enemy's armor permanent. The armor strip will be permanent. So corrosive procs only last for like 6 or 8 seconds, I believe it is. When you cast Swashbuckle or whatever, it's some ability like that. It's like armor steal, armor pillage. It will make the armor strip permanent, and it will also give you that armor that was taken. It will give you some of the armor that was taken, and it will also give you a corrosive damage buff. Are you with me? This ability does a lot. It's his new ability. So basically, while enemies have corrosive procs on them, cast this new ability. The corrosive procs are consumed, it seems like, but the armor strip of those corrosive procs becomes permanent. The corrosive damage type is increased, or rather, think of it like Venom Dose for Sarin. Let's see if, so right here, she cast it. So there's 3 enemies in this hallway. She cast the new ability. It's actually called Plunder. And see what happened. She removed their armor. She got 173 armor as a bonus, and she got 43% corrosive damage. That's going to be on weapons, and reminder that it's going to be working on multiple enemies. So if you have a big group of enemies like that, her buff is going to go a lot higher. So now she's got 1,400 armor and 360% corrosive damage buff. Very powerful right there. So that is already, like, that passive alone, and then his new ability is already better than his old kit, Plunder. So looking good. And as far as Tentacle Swarm, they improved the AI of how the tentacles like ragdoll enemies. They will just basically just stand there and die now, or stand there and be easily shot, unlike before where they would just like kind of like wiggle around like crazy. It was very hard to hit them. So overall, looking real good. As far as what use cases Hydroid will have, he will be very good at removing enemy armor. He'll be good for debuffing. He'll be good for crowd controlling an area. As far as AoE nuke, probably not. He needs to be fully armor removing all first off. But hey, he has corrosive damage type. That's pretty good. I could definitely see him at least killing some stuff. And they are not nerfing Pilfering Swarm. Pilfering Swarm will still work and still give you the extra loot. So as you can see right there, the tentacle alone is killing that enemy at level 30. I don't think it would really do that before. It was like magnetic damage or something. So big Hydroid buffs. And yeah, I think that he'll actually be worth checking out once this Hydroid rework goes through. All right, so moving past the Hydroid rework, we'll do a deep dive on that probably on like Saturday because there's more to it, but I did give you a pretty good in-depth look there. Okay, so as far as the Mark 1 weapons, they are not being removed from the game, they're being removed from the tutorial. So if you have Mark 1 weapons, they will not be removed. Not entirely sure about flawed mods. It sounds like flawed mods might get removed from your inventory, but we'll have to see. We're getting some quest improvements to the Wave Rider quest, Voxelaris, Nata, and more. By the way, Universal Enemy Radar. This will be 30 meters of enemy radar for all frames. That's crazy amounts of enemy radar. So yeah, and I believe they didn't say anything about Ivara technically, so maybe they'll talk about Ivara later. Some more accessibility things. Auto melee is getting added. It will not work on glaives or the wolf sledge, but it'll work on everything else, they said. You just basically hold the button down and just keep meleeing. So that's cool. Some new UI buff changes. You can like see what the buff is. So here's some of the accessibility things. So you can make it where enemies are marked in red on the map. You can see yourself marked in blue on the map, etc., etc. Some waypoint changes on Fortuna for conservation. As far as conservation trails, they made these a lot easier to see. That's a great change. That was like the worst part about conservation. Update history stuff. Okay, so just a bunch of bunch of stuff down here. We'll talk about the shield getting stuff in the future, but basically shield getting is being entirely changed, guys, okay? A lot of the shield getting builds, basically, no, every shield getting build right now that uses Decay and Dragon Key is now out of date. Decay and Dragon Key will massively nerf your shield gating, so keep that in mind. There's a new corrupted mod meant for shield gating that we'll have to probably get called Catalyzing Shields. So expect more information on that in the full shield getting video. So some more stuff here, some mod changes, and yeah. All right, so some other things that were not mentioned in here. There's actually going to be cross-platform clans being added on the 18th as well. So that means my clan is going to be finally open to applicants. We will have the clan open. I'm not entirely sure how running a clan goes nowadays, but yep, I will be opening my clan. That was what I was waiting for. It was cross-platform clans, and we're getting that. So that's great. Grendel Prime, as stated, will be in here as well. Some big quality of life changes that also are in here. I think DE watches my videos because there's actually a change to the Steel Path circuit where if you basically have all the Incarnons already, you can do the Steel Path circuit and it will actually give you an option of a Riven mod instead of a, see it right here, so Steel Path circuit, Riven mod instead of a Incarnon, and same with level 10. So thank you for watching my videos, DE. I got more good suggestions too if you want to watch those. So that's something that's coming with this update. So circuit's back on the menu for me at least. And yeah, I really do want to cover the shield getting in a future video, so keep an eye on that. As you know, it's over. I think the meta needed this shake-up anyway, but let's just say that things will not be as easy for level 10,000 anymore, and I'm actually quite happy about that. So that's basically the overall overview of what you're getting in this update. You're getting a new frame, you're getting a massive rework to Companions and Hydroid, you're getting some quality of life stuff, you're getting some new mods, which are also associated with the Companion rework. So let me know how you guys felt about the dev stream down below. I thought it was really fun. There was a couple parts that were kind of like boring, but hey, you know what? This is all coming on October 18th, so about 3 weeks from right now. How can you prepare for this? Get your Syndicate rep maxed out so you can buy those Dagath keys. Make sure you go to your open world syndicates, get those leveled up too, so you can buy those new mods from the conservation vendors for rep, I'm assuming. So yeah, that's basically it for the video, guys. I'll see you tomorrow with another video, probably going over the shield getting changed, because, I mean, if you do endurance runs, that's a pretty big change. So yeah, Decay and Dragon Key finally died. I will see you guys in the next video. Appreciate all the support. Take it easy. Bye.